Hey guys, welcome to the show, Cerebral Stick Up. Today, we have a very special guest for you. Elisabeth hails all the way from Sweden. She's a fitness enthusiast, and we're just going to pick her brain a little bit today about her nutrition, her diet, her life story, how she got into fitness, and so forth. Hope you guys enjoy, and thank you again. You take care. Welcome, please, Elisabeth. How you doing?
I'm fine.
Uh, Technical difficulties. How are things in
Okay.
Sweden?
Very hot at the moment, about 30 degrees here. So
Oh yeah.
the air condition is on.
How has COVID been for you guys?
It's we never had a lockdown, so we
Hmm.
had only uh, recommendations that we should keep distance and so on.
Hmm.
So of course we have some dead people also,
Hmm.
but for now it's quite good. It hasn't been. The worst was in April or May,
Hmm.
not so many now.
Yeah. So the gym stayed open the entire time?
Yeah,
That's a good thing. You can
yeah,
continue
very
training.
nice. Yes. Where do you live?
So I live in USA and
Ah,
in Nashville, Tennessee, and it's not the worst where I live, but in the United States in general, it's pretty bad.
mm,
You know, I kind of attribute it to they um they wanted to reopen a lot
mm,
faster than they probably should have,
mm,
and then and things kind of escalated from there. So
mm. Okay,
it is what it is. The gyms are still like open, but like at a limited capacity.
okay, okay.
So
Mm.
after we get done with the show, I'm gonna probably go train a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you?
Nice.
How did you get into training and fitness in general?
Uh, well, it was actually many years ago when I was young, and I had
You're still
uh,
young.
oh, okay. I didn't find any workout to do in the school, so
Hmm.
I thought gymnastics and sports wasn't for me.
Hmm.
But then I found the spinning bike
Hmm.
at the gym, and after that became a spinning instructor, and then
Okay.
I finally found what I liked, and it was the gym and the surroundings there. So it was about when I was 17, and then I continued from there. So I have been an instructor in different sports for a
Hmm.
long time, and then also the last 5 years I have been doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Mm. What kind of sports are you an instructor in?
Spinning, body pump, Pilates, Tabata, step up. Do you have more?
So are these like classes that
Yeah, classes. Yes,
you would
yes,
train at the gym?
yes.
Okay, gotcha. How was that? Was that fun? Are you still doing that?
Yes, I do that still. It's very fun. I can't really stop.
Mm.
It's very nice to see the people's reactions and how they are changing from having being a beginner
Mhm.
to be better and better and better. So it's very fun.
So in Sweden, like is it so even though like let me put it this way. So in the United States, like we see, especially when you have Instagram and things of that nature, we see a lot more nowadays of people being at the gym and so forth. But when you take the percentages, it's still like less than I think 1% or
Mm.
2% of people that actually work out. And so, how is it in Sweden? Do most people work out, or what would you say?
No, I would say maybe it's a bit more than 1%, but
Hmm.
maybe 10%.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
still quite a little.
Yeah. So you don't see a lot of like weightlifters and stuff like that.
I do that because I am in the gym, but not so many in the streets or so on.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
no,
So you
I'm
said,
still quite
go ahead.
rare.
Yeah, yeah, that's, you're unique for sure. So you say you started like kind of heavyweight training recently. Like, what made you decide to do that?
Actually, it was I got into a program with a personal trainer,
Hmm.
um, and right then I just wanted to change my body, I think.
Hmm.
But it was very good for me because then I also got this uh, routine
Hmm.
that I have been doing a lot of exercise before also, but this was you have to work out 6 times per week. You need to think about your diet. You need to take power walks in the morning. It was like
Hmm.
this. And after some months of that program, I was hooked, I guess.
Hmm.
So before that, I didn't really, as a girl, you're a little bit afraid that you should
Right.
be too big
Right.
or have too much muscles and so on. And this was more. I realized that this is my thing. I am
Hmm.
strong. It shapes my body, and it's very nice to have this when you're not looking for any motivation anymore. You just do it because
Right.
it's a routine, and so I continued, and I have done that now for about 6 years, five or
Okay, so
six years.
6 years, so quite some time. Yeah, it's strange how people still to this day feel like lifting weights will make you, really, really big if you're a
Mm-hmm.
female. And that, that's so not true. I'm sure that there's women that lift very heavy weights that are not very big at all. So
Yeah.
it's, how was your diet on this plan? You said you had to watch your diet. Are you a person that kind of gains weight easier, or do you lose weight easy? Like what kind, how's
Uh,
your body made, like,
I think I
laid out?
gain weight quite likely. Also, I gain muscles likely.
Hmm.
So for me, my diet is now about high protein
Hmm.
and a little bit of carbs and a little bit of fat, but most is protein.
Hmm.
So I eat a lot of eggs and chicken and fish and so on.
Hmm.
And then I have vegetables and fruit. Um, I try to avoid sugar as much as I can.
Yeah.
And if I eat carbs, I don't want to have it from bread or pasta. I want it from rice or potatoes or
Mhm.
good carbs.
Right, right. Yeah,
So,
that's smart.
mm,
That's smart. What do you think? So there's like the online. There's some uh, famous coaches that they're having like these debates on whether what's more important. Is it calories in and calories out, or is it the macros, which is like the protein, the carbs, the fats? Like, what do you think? Like, do you think like how many calories you eat is important, or you think it's just all about like um the macros that are involved in what you
mm,
eat?
I think it's of course the calories are important, but for me, I notice better results when I have like this. When I'm looking at the macros also,
Mhm.
like the proteins and so on. So if I should have all my calories from carbs, I wouldn't have that good results.
Yeah.
So I think it's a mix, but of course you can't scroll away and have a lot of calories because then you
Mhm.
will
Mhm.
gain weight
Right,
if
right.
you if you don't want to.
Well, it's interesting because it's like if you even if you eat good food and like let's just say you eat all protein, right? Even if
Mm,
you eat a lot of calories of just, obviously nobody's eating all protein, but if you eat a lot of calories with all protein in it, you're still not going to like lose weight. Yeah, so, I mean, I see your point where like calories are important, but like as far as your body composition, like what
hmm
you look like, I think macros are important there. Because if you
Yes.
have maybe you can eat less calories and it's, let's say, all carbs, and you eat less calories and maybe you will lose weight, but like, what does your body look like, when you lose that weight? That's
Mm,
kind of the
mm,
question. So,
yeah.
are you planning to like, do anything as far as like competing or anything like that? Is there a goal there, or are you just going to continue like kind of doing classes and training for your health and just your personal benefit?
Yeah, I think the thought about competition is very scary.
Hmm.
uh, I had an issue with anorexia when I was a small kid,
Hmm.
and I'm not really sure that I should go there again,
Hmm.
because then you get judged, and you have people that look at your body, and I am a bit afraid that it will bring out this disease again, and I don't want
Hmm.
that. So,
Hmm.
so for me, it's more important to feel good, look good, and hopefully look young as long as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. So you said you had an issue with anorexia. If you, I'll leave that up to you how much you want to go into it. But um, is how, like, can you talk about that? Are you okay with talking
yeah,
about that? Hmm.
yeah. It's okay.
So tell me, like, kind of how it came about. Like, what ages are we talking about?
I was 14
Hmm.
when I got it, and I think it was a lot of issues with my body from the start. When I was 10 years old, I already had a female body. Uh, I felt very, what do you say, strange. My
Hmm.
my friends were very slim and very small. Uh, so I thought it was something wrong with me, I guess. So I started to just not eat. I said to my parents that I had eaten in school, and I didn't eat in school. I went to the swimming hall instead, and went for swimming. And so I always said that I was full. I didn't need any food, so I could have maybe one apple or one day. So I dropped the weight very very fast, and you get also very good at lying. My parents didn't notice and so on. So it was a try to have control, I guess, in my body, and I hated my curves and I hated everything, and I really struggled with that, and I have been struggling for this for since then. Uh, many years I hated everything curvy. I just wanted to be like a stick. Um, so maybe for some years ago, I was finally free in my mind. Now I can see a curvaceous body and see, oh, it's quite nice.
Hmm.
But it has taken a very, very long time. Uh,
What do you attribute that to? Is it just because of your friends be looking that way, or do you think like kind of society pushes that kind of look, this,
I
like you said,
think
the
I
slimmer
think the
look?
magazines and the fashion industry has a lot responsibility here. Finally, it's going in the other way now. Now finally you can see a model who has curves, and it's not like this stick
Mm-hmm.
anymore. And I like it, even though my brain is so programmed to think that they should be small and slim.
Mm-hmm.
So I can be like, oh wow, she has curves. I
Yeah.
still get surprised, but I hopefully my daughter and so on will grow up in an environment that is not this um, focused about being slim. I hope
Mm-hmm.
we can get further than that.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And especially if you're a person that's just not like, that's not your body composition to be that
Hmm.
thin, it's a serious struggle, like for a lot of kids, especially women, girls, at those young ages where you're just kind of growing up and a lot of things are happening, a lot of changes are happening with like your body and hormones and everything like that, and then all you see is thin women. And like I've told you over chat, like I was born in Europe too. So in Europe, that is a very common like thing, in the United States as well too, but to be like thin, always thin. That's like the idea of beauty. And when you're a young girl, it's, that's all you see. Like, that's what you're kind of like pushed for, like,
mm,
to look like. And you might get out of that like you did, but
mm,
that time period where you spend your life being, anorexic or have other eating disorders because of that, how much damage is going to be caused in that time period.
mm,
Maybe you got out and you weren't, as damaged, but others, they could, have real health complications, because, how long has, these things have been going on with, with a person. It just depends. And you're right. I mean, things are changing. I was listening to Tyra Banks. Now, given Tyra is, are you aware who Tyra
yeah,
Banks is?
I know who
Yeah,
is she.
yeah. I figured you did. So she was talking about how, and now given she's a small, like she's thin, a thinner woman in general, if you to look at her in general, but she started modeling when she was very young, so she was even more thinner than she is now. And as she started growing up, she kind of like started developing more, and she was talking about how like it became very difficult to stay in that industry, in the modeling industry, because she was growing, she was developing, and that's not the look that they wanted. So she
Mm,
started like doing some of the similar things, to try to continue to stay lean, or smaller, thinner. Eventually, though, she couldn't do it anymore. So
mm,
it's a hard, hard life, to live.
mm.
So you said you're still kind of, for a while you had that. How long have you had like residual, like mental thoughts of that? Like, is it still bothering you?
I think I am finally rid of it now,
Mm-hmm.
but I at least it took me 20 years to really think other thoughts about my body.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think that also was a reason why I started this program with the heavy lifting and so on,
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to get slimmer, and I wanted to have this muscular, very lean body.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what I didn't know was that I should develop even more curves when I started to do this. So I have never been this kind of ass girl
Mm-hmm.
that you have many around the internet right now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I always had an ass,
Mm-hmm.
and I just wanted to get it away. So for me, it was a bit frustrating when I actually gained weight due to the heavy lifting. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't fat; it was muscles,
Mm-hmm.
and the ass was bigger, and I was what? And then I was trying even harder to get rid of it. But
Right.
after a while, I realized, okay, this is actually a body that looks good.
Mm-hmm.
It is appreciated by others,
Mm-hmm.
and women started to ask me how I do my workout, how can I train like me,
Right.
and so on. And I was, what? You want to look like me? Huh? Okay. So it was a bit eye opener for me also. It just took me quite a while to get
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how that works. It's like you think, my wife was thinking something similar, where she's like, "Oh, I'm not getting the results that I want," when she was training, a few years back, where she kind of started to, and then people would like ask her about device and things of that nature, and then she's like, "Oh, well, maybe it is working, because
Mm-hmm.
otherwise, why would these people ask me,
Mm,
for advice?" So they're obviously seeing something. They're seeing changes. They're seeing that you look good, and it's interesting how like people that are thinner will all like want to be bigger, and then people that are like more bigger will want to be the opposite. It's
mm-hmm.
like we both want like what our bodies like kind of naturally don't
Yeah.
don't do easier,
Yeah.
so how so you said you have like children. How old are your kids?
My oldest son is 17.
Oh,
Then I have one who is 13 and a
mm,
daughter who is 8.
okay. Do they work out, especially the
Yeah.
sons? Mm,
The oldest one, he is working out quite much.
okay.
The middle one, he just wants to start now. And they have been following me to the gym for all times.
Mm-hmm.
So for them, it's very natural. I leave them um, at home sometimes. So I go to the gym and they
Mm-hmm.
stay at home by themselves, or sometimes they come with me to the gym. Uh, so for them, it's like, oh, aren't you going to work out
Yeah.
today?
Mm.
It's a very natural thing for them. So
Yeah.
I hope hopefully everyone will do the same as I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
It's a good example. It's a good role model for your children. A lot of like around this area, I don't know how it is in Sweden, but a lot of young people are kind of just wasting their youth in the being healthy sense. Like a
Mm.
lot of the youth are very unhealthy. They eat, trash. They don't get even the minimum requirement of physical exercise. So, and
Mm.
obviously young, you think it's not going to affect you, but down the road, it definitely can. So it's good
Yeah.
that your children have you to look up to, and then can kind of continue that on their own.
And I also think that if I try to be healthy and think about what I eat, it also goes to them. They
Hmm.
see that, okay, I'm not eating pizza and bad food as much as others may be doing. So they get hopefully a healthy way of looking at food also.
Right, right. That's a big part of it, right? Is how you view food. That's
Mm.
like you mentioned. I hate saying relationship because I feel like relationships are with people, not with food.
Mm.
But but it's kind of that way. It's like people like their interaction with food and how they view food it makes a big difference on their nutrition. Some
Mm.
people you just
Mm.
have such a negative interaction with food. It's like anytime they eat anything, it's always just extremely unhealthy. How is
Mm.
it? How is it in Sweden? Is it so like we a few years ago? Me and my wife went to Estonia for a little while, and it was very easy and very cost effective to get natural, organic, just regular food. In the United States, it tends to be if you want more organic food or more natural food, it's more expensive. How is it in
Mm.
Sweden? Is it easy to get like good nutritious organic food? Is it not?
I think it's quite easy.
Hmm.
Of course, it's more expensive.
It is.
Yeah, if you go to McDonald's, for example, then you can have a burger for just a few Swedish crowns. But it's easy to find it in stores and also easy to find it in restaurants. I think Swedish chefs are quite focused on it should be healthy, your
Hmm.
food. And you can choose, I don't want the French fries for this, I want some salad, and then you can have that.
Hmm.
So they are, I think it's good here.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's I mean that's essentially what you want. That makes it easier to make good decisions.
Mm.
Have you considered like coaching or doing? I know you're teaching classes, but what about like um helping people with their diets, with nutrition, being a coach yourself? Have you thought about
Mm.
like doing something like that?
Yeah, that would actually be a kind of a dream job for me. I thought about it for a long time,
Hmm.
and I have helped some
Hmm.
with some diet suggestions and workout suggestions and so on. But I don't have the education for
Hmm.
it. So then I need to go on some kind of education to have the license. But I
Yeah.
would like to do it. Yes.
Yeah, they say, I don't know if you're familiar, NASM, NASM. They say
Yes,
that
I heard it.
that one is supposedly the most well accepted by pretty much the entire world as being one of the best ones. So definitely that's might be something you want to look into.
Mm,
Might give you some, a good route to go. So
yeah.
are you married yourself?
I have a boyfriend. We are not
Oh,
married yet, but we
okay.
live together.
Okay. Are you so is he also into fitness? Does he go to gym with you and
Hmm.
everything? Oh, he
Yeah.
does. Okay.
I could never live with a man who didn't do that. This is my life,
Hmm.
workout. And if he was a guy who was just spending time on the sofa, I would just no, 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 it's not possible. So he needs to be just as into this as I am.
Well,
Mm.
it's also funny to me whenever I see couples and I see a woman who's like really into training, working out, lifting weights, and then her guy is like not at all. Like, so I'm like, if anything, it should be the opposite. But it's great if both do it. But I'm
Mm.
like, if you're a man, I feel it's kind of like in my mind, and maybe I don't know, I don't want to put anybody down, but in my mind, it's like you're the first one that should be doing something like that. So it's always a little. Why does your girlfriend, wife lift heavier weights than you? That's not okay. So,
Yeah.
but anyways, well, hey, Elisabeth, thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your story with us, coming on Cerebral Stick Up about your anorexia and how you got out of that mindset. Hopefully, when people hear this, it'll help them as well.
Mm.
It's a big problem, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better as far as like the younger ages are concerned.
Mm.
So again, I appreciate your time, guys. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe at the bottom. And Elisabeth, thank you very much for your time. Greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Take care.